kind of safety concerns you might see?
Well, with you guys are on the road quite often, and we got to remember that the rest of the population only have maybe one or two destinations throughout their day.
Sure.
With you guys, you have multiple stops in the beginning of the day, throughout your normal business day. It's not just A to B. You guys have A, B, C, and D. And we got to prepare for those type of things and remind ourselves not to be complacent, because complacency does kill. And we want realtors to be safe out there because they're providing a service to the public. They are helping people find homes, and we want that to continue.
Sure. So one of the main things when somebody gets licensed in real estate is when they want to take care of that client. So they get an initial call, hey, I want to take a look at this house, and they just jump in the car and run out there to show it. What kind of maybe some tips, especially when meeting a new client, would you suggest for some new real estate agents that are getting into the business that are really looking to earn that money and trying to get that lead and be the first agent out there? What kind of safety tips or precautions would you think would be necessary just to ensure that your safety is met before trying to gain that client?
Definitely, Daniel. First and foremost, you want to know where you're going. Don't just hop in the car and be like, all right, this is the address I'm going to. Know your route. Plan your route. Have an idea of how you're going to get there.
Sure.
Have a secondary route. Here in Central Florida, we have road closures all the time. We have construction happening all the time. Car accidents happen on a daily basis here.
Yep.
You need to have an alternate route because, God forbid, that one way you want to go isn't going to happen for you. Plan another route. Have your client also know the way to get to the house that they're about to go look at.
Sure.
Depending on the time of the day, you may want to meet them in a public location first and then have them follow you over. If that's not possible, you can also even meet them at the residence in a public forum type way. Park in front of the house. Activate your hazard lights. Tell them, hey, this is the type of car I'm in, the color of the car I'm in, my hazards are on, and I'm going to be waiting for you in front of the house.
Sure. So I know the National Realtor Association has kind of went over some steps that you shouldn't be parking in the driveway because that'll block you in. So That's one of the main concerns, parking in the street. But another thing you're saying, just probably to increase the visibility, is to leave your flashers on when you're meeting a new client, maybe for the first time. So God forbid something would happen, your flashers are going to kind of be activated in the neighborhood. The neighbor across the street may possibly be, okay, this guy has had his flashers on out in front of the home for an hour.
The realtor, the rest of the community doesn't know who you are as the realtor.
Sure.
Your car is not something they're used to seeing in that neighborhood. By you activating your lights, parking in a public kind of location in front of this house, you're not being suspicious. You're announcing that you're there and that you're waiting for somebody. And also that client now coming there may have never met you before, physically met you before.
Yep.
And now they're a little bit more comfortable showing up. They have a realtor that told them this is the type of car I'm in. My hazards are going to be here. This is where I'm going to be parking at. They feel more comfortable approaching you, and the community that's there kind of now shows, okay, this realtor is helping.
And I also imagine it would probably set off some sort of alarm if your flashes are on for an hour or so, or something. God forbid something would happen. So that makes a good valid point. A lot of real estate agents already park on the street to ensure safety, but leaving, if you're with a new client for the first time, leaving those flashes on is just kind of another step.
That's correct. And you mentioned parking in the driveway. One, you don't want to be blocked in. Two, it's not your driveway. You don't want to park in someone's driveway. And then you're putting multiple vehicles now in this driveway. If the client sees your cars there, they're going to park there. They're going to think that's okay too.
Okay.
You park in the road, in return, that client's going to park right behind you.
Yeah.
Monkey see, monkey do.
Of course. Sure. Makes sense. Now, we are on Facebook Live as well, so feel free, if you're following me or whether you're watching this video, this is Officer, I'll say your last name.
Trooper Stephen Monteiro.
Yep. With Florida Highway Patrol. We wanted to get together. September is Realtor Safety Month, and we want to make sure that everybody's being safe out there, including myself, because there's a lot of times when you'll forget about the safety. And you were just talking about as well, not only your safety, but also the safety of others out on the road getting to that appointment and making sure that you're maintaining speed, not being distracted and stuff. So I'll let you talk about that just a little bit more too.
With the day and age that we live in today, social media, technology, they run our daily life. As a police officer, as a state trooper, it runs mine just like everyone else's. But with you guys, how you guys interact with your clients, how you advertise your homes, you guys are social media all over the place, whether it's Twitter, Instagram,
I don't know
Facebook.
what you mean.
Yeah, right. We're here live right now. And you have to remember that safety is the responsibility of the driver. That's it. You are solely responsible for your own safety out there. We want you to be as safe as possible going from the office to the house. The phone calls can wait. The text messaging can wait. The computer interaction can wait. Make whatever notifications you need to make prior to leaving your office. And then whenever you get somewhere, that's when you can make those communications over your phone, cellular device, or something like that. We're asking that you just maintain responsibility on the road so that you get to where you're going safely. Because there's a lot of distractions out there. Heck, look at the cars that we drive nowadays. They even have stuff inside the car that's distracting.
And being in real estate too, you're not only going from point A to point B, where the normal, the typical driver would be getting up in the morning, going to the place of business, probably until 5 p.m. and leaving. We are going from point A to possibly the office point B, and then going to...
What other meetings you have? Look at us today. We've got this going on now.
Yeah.
The other people don't have normal stuff like this going on. Their norm is simply that. It's so normal that anything outside of that can tend to stress people out.
Yeah.
Your daily operations for someone else is not normal for them.
Sure.
So we want to make sure that even though you're used to all the stuff that you're doing on the phone, stopping here, talking to this person, that you don't forget the basic safety of driving that car.
Makes a good point. I was out the other day driving around, and I had a client call me, and she said, "Oh, this house just went on the market. I've got to see it." So what I did, to ensure just a little bit more safety, is I had my laptop with me. I actually pulled into a local doctor's office.
Perfect.
Pulled off to the side, or you can pull into a parking spot, but I just pulled off to the side, put the vehicle in park, and then got out my laptop, pulled up the information, made that phone call, and it really did a service to the client as well.
Perfect. You knocked two birds, one stone. You provided the client with the information, and you made sure that you were safe while doing that.
Probably more accurate information as well. By pulling over, I wasn't distracted by the cars in front of me. I was able to talk to the client.
Correct.
Use the name a couple times, versus if I was out driving around, I may not be as concentrated on the information that they're wanting. They may think I'm distracted, not providing them the service. So really ensured safety on the roadways, and also gave my client probably better service by pulling over and being a little bit more focused on that.
That's 100% right. And you took the initiative. And think about it. You pulling over, you may have saved other people's lives that you don't even realize.
Yeah.
Because that distraction, you chose to stop, remove the distraction to a safe location, and now those other drivers aren't dealing with you on the road either.
Yeah.
So everyone's happy, kind of thing.
Makes sense. Moving right on, if anybody has any questions, please feel free to chime in and let us know. We've got some likes on the video, and then we've got... looks like Chad buzzed in and said, "This is great, much needed." It definitely is.
Appreciate it, Chad. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Chad. Definitely is needed. It's there's a lot of new agents getting into the market, and when you get that call from the client and they say, we want to get this home, we've called two other agents, we don't know if they're going to call us back, but we got you. Will you come show us the home? Your safety is the main concern. You want to give the service to the clients, and you want to have more clients than your competitor. You want to, the goal is to be more successful than your other agent that you're competing against. But one thing that I do always when I'm meeting a new client, if I'm trying to gain that business and they don't have that time to come into the office and do the consultation, is I will, with this day and age, I will have them, snap a picture of the driver's license and even send it to me. With that, I leave it at the front desk, and in every office in real estate, I think they kind of have that keyword. You can call back to the office and say, "Hey, I've got that lead key on 123 Smith Street. Do you see that in my office?" Whatever the keyword is, if it's the black folder, whatever that keyword is, where you can call back your receptionist or your a colleague that knows you're going out. Let them know that keyword that sends a signal. Hey, call police, or let somebody know that.
Daniel's touching on here too is the emergency of stuff. I know we're getting into it, but what we're trying to make sure is that the client doesn't, if the client has an issue with you or you have an issue with the client, that you have a safe word that you can call back to your office and let them know, "I have a problem here. I need help," without causing more of a problem there at the house. So what we're trying to do is come up with a keyword, come up with that safe word that everyone knows. And what I would also recommend is that the keyword changes every 2 months.
Yeah.
Because you don't want that, we don't keep our passwords the same all the time, in risk of jeopardizing our stuff. So with that, you'd want to change that word. You want it simple, you want it common, but not something that would be thrown out in a random sentence when you're talking to your boss and you want to go to lunch, and next thing you know, he's got the cops coming to where you're at. So something that is simple, that wouldn't alert the client that you have a problem, but your staff would know.
That's got some more comments coming up here. It seems like everybody is in favor for the safety and all that, but that does make a good point. I know here at our office we have kind of one keyword or one safe word that you say. I don't think it's changed, but a lot of other offices have done the same thing, and whether it be, get me the red key or the yellow folder, that keyword stays the same. And if it does that, people may catch on and whatnot. You don't want to alert the client to something
right.
went on. So no questions have came in. I know we had some other things to
do want to add, you got to remember, you guys also tend to show homes during evening hours sometimes.
Yep.
And we've got to make sure that you're aware of that also. It isn't a big change, but looking at a house at noon and then coming to that house at 8 o'clock at night, you're in a completely different world at that point. And you need to be aware of that kind of stuff. We're not saying that don't show a house at night. We're just saying be aware.
Sure.
Situational awareness nowadays is something that we need all the time. We do live in a society that is protected, but we need to be aware. Let your client know whether you prefer to meet at daytime or prefer to meet at nighttime. It's your show. If the client doesn't want to see the house during the day, or, if you're not available, you're not available.
Yeah.
And if you're not comfortable showing a house at nighttime, don't show the house at night.
Yeah.
It's just that simple. We're asking that you don't get pushed by your client. You're in charge, and your safety is the most important here.
Yeah.
And that's why we're doing this. We want the realtor to be safe.
Yeah.
That leaks over to the client. But the primary purpose of this is for the realtor to be safe.
And I know I get, busy with my business, and I want to make sure I'm maintaining, the best service to my clients. So there's a lot of times when my clients will say, I'm not available till 8 p.m. Can you show it then? It's really doing them a disservice to show it in the evening. You don't have the natural light coming in. You put yourself at risk for other dangers that may come about in the community at the nighttime. May not be with that client, but just in the evening, it's a little bit. I think the crime rates and stuff probably would say showing a home during the daytime is definitely going to be a little bit safer for both the client and yourself, rather than showing in the
right. Totality of the circumstances here. What we're really looking at is overall a positive interaction.
Yep.
And a safe experience is the key here. We want a client to meet the realtor and the realtor to meet the client, and a successful encounter. That's ultimately what we want.
Well, sounds good. Let's see here. We've been live for. Tell us the time.
No.
We've got 12 viewers. We've got some comments going on, but not a whole lot of questions. You can find more about realtor safety. We actually grabbed some of the tips off of the Realtor organization's website. There's a couple of things on here. One was bringing up the rear, kind of when you're showing the home too.
Right.
I know you guys, obviously in law enforcement, know some of these tips, but
some of the simple stuff like what we do on a daily basis that's normal for us, that may not be normal for the normal public, but would help with their safety. Walking up to a home. Okay. You don't want the client behind you. You want to be kind of aware of the situation.
Okay.
Have that client walk up. And you could be very nonchalant about that. Be like, all right, guys, walk up to your new home. Yeah. Kind of something like this. Check it out. Experience walking up to your house. In return, you're not letting them know that you're purposely putting them in front of you.
Sure.
Because we don't like people behind us.
Yeah.
You don't like people behind you. It's that safe feeling that it's that eerie feeling that, I can't see the person. You don't know them. You don't know them from anybody you just met on the street. So in return, put them in front of you.
Okay.
Hey, sir, ma'am, go ahead and walk up to the house for me.
So there's nothing unexpected.
Right. You have to, in law enforcement, we think anywhere, anyone, at any time, something can happen. And that's what keeps us alive. And in return, that's what ultimately could sell you a home.
Yeah.
Could get you home safely that night. Could eliminate any type of issue at a house. So with that, it's simple, nonchalant. Hey, do me a favor, go ahead and walk up to the house for me. You walk up and let me know the feel that you feel. They don't have no clue what you're doing.
Yeah.
But you know what you're doing. You're having them walk up, there's no one behind you, end of the day, both parties are happy.
I know recently in some videos and stuff that have been throughout the media, you see people reaching into their pockets and all that. I guess being behind the client and observing them, you can ensure that if they, if there was some sort of situation that would come about, you would have a little bit more, you'd have a heads up versus being in front of them, trying to get the door unlocked and all that. If they walk up first, they don't have anything, or nothing's going to pop out, vice versa.
Right.
So that
and of course, we're not We're not thinking that you're selling houses to convicted felons or whatnot,
course not.
but you got to be prepared, and
With
that's
this
why
day
we're
and
here.
age.